Hey, how are you doing this week? Interesting week this week. Quite a lot happened. I think I've been on an emotional roller coaster that I was never expecting to be on. But if you are in a state after this week in the US where you have not taken the time to process and get to like an equilibrium state, just go ahead and save this video. And then if you are kind of rah, super excited about the news this week, then maybe also might not be your video. But I did want to, for those of us that want to kind of take the next step forward in our processing, I did want to share some initial thoughts, because I feel like now that I've kind of gathered how I feel about everything, I just wanted to share a perspective in the case it's helpful for everybody that's processing. But I feel like the biggest thing, and to like take a step back, that I noticed throughout this whole entire election cycle is, and to take even a further step back, when Nixon was running against JFK back in the day, that was the first time TV was introduced to campaign debates. And what happened was, people that were listening to the debate on the radio thought that Nixon won for sure. But people that were watching the debate thought that JFK won for sure. And it just, that example goes to show you how much media can affect and impact what we see on a day-to-day basis. So I was reflecting on the 2016 election, even in 2020, like the media and our access to media and the channels of media has just gotten like this. Like before this election, I had never followed any politician on any social media ever. So I would get snippets or news clips, whatever, over the years, but it was never so infiltrated into my life. But now when you have TikTok, you have Instagram, and these feeds are serving you more of what you want, which in my case, it was promoting one candidate over another. I'm only seeing the good of one, and I'm only seeing the bad of the other. So I was in my little echo chamber of like, oh, I think it's gonna go one way entirely. So when, Donald Trump wins again this year, I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even prepared for that. Like I wasn't even ready for that to happen, because I've only been seeing and viewing what I have chosen to be what I'm interested in, if that makes sense. So I feel like that was like a shock in and of itself. And reflecting now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had such a big emotional response and a big emotional reaction, because I've only been served one side of this, and that's a very filtered way to look at the world. And I'm reflecting on it. It's crazy now how much we're bombarded with the news and with perspectives and with more of our thoughts being shown to us, because we're clicking on it, we're engaging with content that we like, that serves us, or that proves a point that we want to make. And I think what was shocking to me was, oh my gosh, I'm so out of touch, because I didn't even realize that more than half of the United States feels a different way than I do. And I hadn't even considered the other perspective. So I think that this week, doing some reflection in that, and like how much elections have changed, because now you have memes and GIFs and videos and short snippets and people's opinions and influencers telling you how they feel, and people being paid to do certain things. And it's a lot. And I think that it's overwhelming. And I didn't realize how overwhelming it was until it didn't maybe go my way, or what I thought was my way. You know what I mean? So I think it's an interesting time, I think, for women and for marginalized communities. I think it can be a scary time, and I feel like that. I really do. I think that what I am looking forward to, at least some type of silver lining here, is I feel like there's been a lot of blame put on, the Democrats and how things have been run for so long, and people wanted a change. So now the fact that Congress and the presidency and the Supreme Court, it's now all controlled basically by one party. There won't be the commentary so much that, now it's, one side's fault. Now we'll have a completely different way forward, and we'll have to see how that goes. I think I'm to the point of acceptance now, right? and I can control what I can control here. So the only other thing I really wanted to mention here, because I think it's, you know, I think it's a good exercise to start to understand, or at least try to understand, other perspectives. But the one thing I also did want to highlight, like, even though I feel like it's very disappointing and very disheartening, because I feel like a lot of the narrative this week has been, oh, men hate women, men don't like women. But if you think about it, I mean, even a couple of years ago, if you told me, you know, in 2016, in a couple of years, a black woman would be running for president and 70 million people would vote for her, I would have not, I'd be like, what? That's crazy, really? So, I mean, I think that there is such a silver lining there. And I think that even though things might not have gone this way, I mean, think of all the people that went out and said, I'm gonna put my faith in this new type of candidate. And I think it's important to realize, like, so many people did come together for that. And that's unprecedented, that's never happened. And I think we can celebrate that piece of it. And I think it's gonna take some time to heal and grow and change. But I mean, I think we have a different way forward, and us having an insanely emotional response to it, even though I think we need to heal and we need to recover, I think to put action behind I mean, at the end of the day, this party didn't win, and why is that? And more than half of the US feels a different way, and why is that? And I think if we don't have those conversations and we don't, you know, lean in to understand the other perspective, we're never going to get to the other side of it or have a different type of party in charge. So all that to be said, I think that it's important to take care of yourself during this time. I don't think it makes sense to spread hate online further. I mean, I think that it's got to kind of be the total acceptance, and I think a lot will reveal itself over the next 4 years. But I think to have grace with yourself, with others right now is going to be the most important, and it's going to take time, but everything happens for a reason. And maybe we need to see this other viewpoint that at least I feel like my head has been so far in the sand. So the only thing I would recommend for women, just protect yourself. I think that if you don't want to start a family in the next 4 years, get yourself protected. I mean, I personally have an IUD because I did not want to have kids for a 5-year period, and I knew that. So I think that that's worked for me, but see what works for you, especially if you're in a state where there's a question about that, or there could be. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of years, but I think that, you know, it's really sad for, I mean, and I know we don't want to necessarily feel bad for men. I can completely understand that, but I was even looking at Jack this week, and I feel like Jack, you know, sees what I see, and he knows how I feel, and he feels a very similar way. But if you're a single woman, especially living in New York or living in a city, and you're joining the 4B movement, which honestly, I do get it. And I get that there's that kind of, there's that reaction, but I think I was thinking last night, what a travesty it would be for all the guys that they think the same way as you do. They want the same things for you. They're disappointed this week. To have those guys not be able to find you, that makes me sad to think about. So I think we all have to take our time to process. I think we have to have an open mind, even though it might be hard. And I think we need to have a lot of in-person conversations too. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I hope we can have. Because I think so much is hidden behind what we're able to post online and what we're able to say behind a screen. But I think things start to change when we do sit down and we do want to understand a different perspective that's you know, varied from ours. So I'm looking forward to doing that after some probably additional healing. But yeah, I think it's just going to be important to put one foot in front of the other, and, you know, resenting everybody and hiding away your gifts from the world because you don't feel like it deserves it. I mean, I think that you're forgetting about so many people that need you, you know, and that could benefit from having you show up as the best version of yourself. So that's really what I'm going to be focused on, is showing up as the best version of myself and helping women become the most successful that they can be. And I think that that's really underlined this week for me, how much I want to continue to grow and support others and grow myself to be the best version that I possibly can. So thinking of you, all of you this week, and taking it a bit slower, I think. Be a bit more reflective. So Ashlyn's gonna come over tonight. We're gonna do, I think, a movie night and order some food in. So sending you a bunch of love this week. I was gonna share time with Ashlyn, but we just got very deep into bachelorette party planning, which I will tell you about in a bit. But we are about to go to Friendsgiving at our friends in New Jersey. So I was gonna show you my outfit really quick. 1 second. So this is a cute little sweater skirt combo with these little white booties. Jack is standing here in the nude. I can't show you him. But how cute is this sweater? Love it. So we will go to Friendsgiving. Yeah. I can't see. Happy Friendsgiving.
Yeah. Yep. A little toasty.
I stay hot, sister.
A lot of toasty. A lot of toasty.
So cute.
Not gonna lie, when you left the kitchen, I opened the door.
Wait, I gotta get your table. Yeah, real nice.